Rightio, I'm back to Skinnymixers, and I found it's Skinnymixers roasted tomato burrata pasta with basil oil. So this is our burrata. Now I've done one of these before. I think I did a risotto with burrata, and what it is it's a ball of mozzarella, except that the mozzarella is a skin around a mixture of mozzarella and cream, is my understanding. Let me read, see if it tells us. Because I've tried to see if I can make it. I think I can. Burrata is a delicate shell of fresh mozzarella that encases stracciatella, a decadent mixture of mozzarella and cream. So I understood it correctly. Rightio. And what you do is you cut it open and let it run all over your, whatever the dish is. So this one is a spaghetti pasta with a roasted tomato sauce, and then we let the, then we put the burrata on top. So I've taken it out of the fridge to let it come back to room temperature a little bit as well. So first thing we're going to do is roast the tomatoes. So I've got the oven on, and we've got 400 grams of, they're supposed to be Perino tomatoes, hard, which I can't get. So I've just got little Roma cherry tomatoes, and it says to put them on I've cut them all in half. Okay, and we're going to put, I'm going to put them all face down so we get, the skin gets a nice blister. Then we want half of these. The other half I think are for serving. And then we got to scatter that with some basil leaves. And I've got to thinly slice some garlic, which I haven't done. I've started tea a bit earlier because I haven't made this recipe before. So I wanted to give myself time to work it out, rightio. So if I get too confused, I'll just leave the bit out and come back once I've worked it out. It seems pretty much straightforward. I've read through it a few times just to make sure that I've absolutely got everything I need. So I've got some basil leaves from the supermarket, and they've got, it just said basil, but they've all sort of got like a purple tinge on the leaves, so that they smell delicious. What I did there, let's go. So it says just, and then a handful of fresh basil leaves, oops, no. It says, and drizzle with olive oil, sugar and salt. So we're going to go scales, we want olive oil. And 40 grams of olive oil. differences with the TM6 is the scales are in 1 gram increments, which is pretty good. I do like the 1 gram increments rather than the 5 gram. Now we want a large pinch of sugar. I wonder what a large pinch is. I wonder if that's like, if it changes according to the size of your hands. A large pinch of and a quarter to a half a teaspoon of salt. Right, I'm going to give that a stir up. And we're going to run that over the top of the need some up this end. Okay, so the recipe says this serves 8. This is a very large recipe. The recipe says to bake at 180 degrees for 20 to 30 minutes until soft and slightly charred. Then in the meantime, prepare your pasta as per the packet instructions and make your basil oil. So we're going to do the basil oil first, and then I'll just cook. I'm doing spaghetti and I'll just cook it in the Thermomix, but I'll do the basil oil first. First, I'll put this in the oven. And it says to roast that for 20 to 30 minutes. So we'll set our timer. We'll go for 20 minutes and we'll see what it looks like after that. Okay, now we'll do the basil oil. And go back to this. And the basil oil is, we've got 200 grams of oil. We want scales, a bunch of celery or approximately 30 grams of leaves. Now I want to save some of these basil leaves to chop up to go on top, but we probably haven't got 30 grams here. No. We haven't even got 20 grams. I'm going to keep those little bits there, but that's okay. It'll just mean it'll be a milder basil oil. So now we've got that in the strainer, and I'm going to pour some boiling water over that. By pouring boiling water over this basil in the sieve, immediately cool leaves with cold water and then squeeze out the moisture. So I'll be back once I'm ready to pat these dry with a paper towel. So it says immediately cool down with cold water, which I've done, and to squeeze out the moisture and then pat dry with a paper towel. Let's see. Rightio. So once we've got all that moisture out, we're going to check our bowl. Oh, it is a bit wet. Okay, So it says to blend the basil. Half a teaspoon of salt. And 200 grams of olive oil. I didn't weigh that. I don't know what that weight was. It was, I weighed it into there. Okay, let's go home. 10 seconds, speed 7. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to scrape this out really well. I'm not going to rinse the bowl before I cook the pasta. And the recipe says 500 grams. But I feel since there's only 4 of us, that is an excessive amount of pasta. So I'm making a full recipe of everything else, but I'm just going to do 350 grams of pasta. And I guess we're just going to see how we go with that. And then the other thing we're going to do is I'm going to test to see how well this recipe freezes. Because for me, with a recipe, an important thing is how well it freezes. So now I've got just spaghetti pasta. And it says, oh, that wasn't very helpful. The instructions are add 500 grams of pasta to 5 litres of salted boiling water. Once cooked, drain well. Oh, cooks in 12 minutes. So you've got 12 minutes. Right. So I'm just going to use the boiled pasta recipe on cookie dough. So if I go to recently cooked, and scroll down a bit, there it is there. So, and we're going to start cooking. So it says to place 1200 grams of water, now I set that timer and it continues on in the background while I am doing this recipe. Right. Now it says to put the lid on. I want the simmering basket and not the lid, not the measuring cup. And we're going to boil the water, so 10 minutes at 100 degrees on speed 1. So I'll come back once the water's boiled, and I'll go and find the simmering basket in the meantime. Rightio. The time is up on them. I've just had a look, and I'm going to give them another, it said 20 to 30 minutes. I'm going to give them another 5 minutes. Start. But in the meantime, we're ready to proceed with the pasta. And it says to add, it's optional, the salt. And then I'm going to put in 350 grams of pasta. It'll give you a little video to watch if you want to. 320. Oh, I was going to do 350. All right, let's do 320. Okay. Next, now without the measuring cup, and we've got to set the time, and it said 12 minutes on the packet. Speed 1 with the blade in reverse. So, and as that cooks, as this pasta down the bottom softens, it all gets pulled down into the Thermomix. So rightio. I'll be back once that's cooked, and we'll continue on with the recipe. Okay. What are we? A minute in, and it's nearly all in there. So, rightio. I'll be back. Okay, so we're going to check the pasta to see if it's cooked, because that's the most important thing. So I always like mine a little more cooked than cooked. So we're going to give it another, let's give it another 5. I'll be back in 5. No, I'm not. I'm going to give it another, no, I just gave it 5 seconds. I'm going to give it another 2 minutes. Let's not overcook it. I couldn't remember what speed the blade was on. I knew it was in reverse. Rightio. Another 2 minutes, and then we'll be ready to set it all up. Okay, I've got to hurry up. Apparently the grandbaby is starving. So, next, strain through and serve hot. What we're going to do, it says through the Burrata dish, but because I've already got this strainer dirty, well, that's a bit steamy. It's quite hot. I'll just show you. It's wound around the blades. Use this to hook them off. Whoops. Doesn't matter, a bit of pasta water is awesome. Rightio. Then it says, stir through the roasted tomatoes. So let's get a oven mitt. So this recipe is a really good example of how not everything has to be done in the Thermomix. How the Thermomix can be a really helpful tool in conjunction with your other kitchen appliances. Look at that. I left them cool if they weren't stuck before. Oops. Alright, let's just pop that over there. Okay, now that needs washing. Yum. Blah, blah, blah. Top with, yeah, everything including the oil, which I've done. So it says to, this is Parmesan, lemon zest, and that rest of that chopped up basil. Now we're going to drizzle it with some of this basil oil. You don't want lots, just enough to moisten the, that's in the way, and that's in the way. And then we've got this burrata. Now it says it's really nice served with crusty bread. I'm inclined not to do bread with pasta, but I will share a link to this recipe down below. So I don't know if you can see that. It is a bit tough. That end's a bit thicker. I'm going to cut this into a smaller petals so it's got a chance to melt a bit. Look at that. Okay. So now you need a fork, and I'm going to give it a taste. I have been wanting to make this recipe for ages, but I haven't had a burrata. Absolutely delicious. That is so nice. Those roasted tomatoes with the garlic and basil and the oil off them is so yummy. The roasted tomatoes are amazing. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, could you please give it a thumbs up, pop over to my channel and subscribe. And I really hope I see you next time.